Title: I found out my husband came back early from his business trip. Start: I knew something was wrong the moment I heard the crackle of fire before I even turned onto our street. A sound too alive, too hungry. Then I saw it, my lover's car, flames licking the sky like a warning I was already too late to heed. For a moment I couldn't breathe, not because of guilt, but because my husband wasn't supposed to be home. He wasn't supposed to know. Yet the fire burned like a confession he demanded I see. I parked crookedly, left the engine running, and ran toward the house. My hands shook, not from fear, but from the cold realization that the game had shifted, and not in his favor. Inside, there were clothes scattered across the floor. Not mine, not my husband's. His. My lover's shirt draped over a chair, his belt by the stairs, his shoes near the kitchen doorway. As if someone had shaken him out of his own life and dropped the pieces one by one. With every step, I braced myself for something worse. And in our bedroom doorway, I found it. My husband sat on the edge of the bed, elbows on his knees, hands clasped. Calm. Too calm. The kind of calm a man manufactures when he believes he has won. My lover wasn't there, not physically, but his phone was placed neatly on my pillow. His broken watch lay beside it, and taped to the headboard was a photograph of the three of us at a holiday party, smiling like fools. My husband lifted his eyes to me, cold and triumphant. "I know everything," he said. I didn't scream, I didn't break. I simply held his stare, because that was the moment I realized something he didn't. He had made his first move, and I had already prepared for my last. We weren't always this way. My husband used to be gentle, measured, predictable in a comforting way. Years of marriages that sink quietly taught me to stop expecting passion from him. He taught me to live within boundaries, to obey the unspoken, to smile on cue. And then I met Daniel. Daniel, who saw the parts of me my husband assumed didn't exist anymore. Daniel, who listened, who watched, who remembered the small things, like the way I twisted my ring when I lied, or how I couldn't fall asleep unless the closet door was closed. Loving him wasn't planned. Betraying my husband was. Because by then, I already knew he'd been betraying me for years, with money siphoned from our accounts, with lies masked as business trips, with a woman whose perfume lingered on receipts he never thought I'd check. So when he broke our vows, I simply followed suit. It began with one mistake on his part, a flight cancellation notice sent to our shared email. He wasn't in Chicago like he said. He wasn't even in a hotel. He was 10 miles from home. With her. My hands didn't shake then. They don't shake now. That night, I watched him sleep and counted every lie he'd ever told me. I realized the truth. I had married a man who thought loyalty was owed only to him. But intelligence? No, that he never respected. And that would be his downfall. I didn't confront him. I never do when I'm angry. I only confront when I'm ready. For weeks, I collected everything. Financial records, hidden messages, voice memos, the shell companies he used to hide money from me, and the prenup addendum he forged my signature on. Sloppy, arrogant, unforgivable. Meanwhile, I made quiet moves of my own. A private investigator, a forensic accountant, a lawyer whose smile was sharper than any weapon. And Daniel, sweet, brilliant Daniel, helped me gather proof without asking why I needed it. He trusted me. Maybe too much. I believed I could protect him. I was wrong. Standing in that bedroom, watching my husband savor his imagined victory, something inside me clicked into place. A serene, lethal calm. The same one I had cultivated while crafting the plan he didn't know he was already inside of. "You think this scares me?" I asked him. He smirked, mistaking my composure for fear. It should, but it didn't. Because while he was busy setting fires and staging scenes, I had already emptied our accounts into one under my name, legally. I had already given my lawyer everything. I had already filed charges under sealed court orders. I had already transferred evidence to the authorities. And I had already sent a message to Daniel an hour earlier, telling him not to come. He never replied. My husband leaned back, satisfied. He won't come between us again. I kept my voice even. He never did. His smirk faded, just a flicker, but enough for me to know I'd landed the first cut. Sirens broke the silence. Not fire trucks, police. My husband's face shifted from victory to confusion to dawning horror. "What did you do?" he whispered. "Nothing," I said. "I just told the truth." When the officers entered, calm, firm, prepared, my husband's confidence drained from him like water from a cracked glass. They read him his rights: forgery, financial fraud, arson, destruction of property, and suspicion of harm toward Daniel, who had already been found safe, shaken, injured, but alive. My husband looked at me then, truly looked at me, as they cuffed him. "You set me up." "No," I said. "You walked into a trap you built for yourself. I just added walls." The fire was ruled intentional, the financial crimes undeniable, the forged signature unforgivable in the eyes of the court. Daniel healed, slowly but with gratitude. My husband went away, long enough to silence him, long enough to free me. And me, I rebuilt. Not with fury, not with regret, but with precision, the same precision that saved my life. People ask me if I feel guilty for what I did. I don't, because revenge isn't rage. Revenge is clarity. And clarity, once earned, is a freedom no one can take back. In the end, my husband taught me one final lesson: never underestimate the quiet woman who knows the truth. She is always the one writing the ending.